poverty is not actually a good thing. We as a community think the Prophet, peace be upon him, was poor. He actually had multiple sources of income, and he had a lot of money coming in. But people would say, oh, what about the story of the rock on his stomach?
Yeah,
There were
yeah,
times of like boycott and of tougher times, but he had a lot of money coming in. But what would he do? He would always push it out. Salah ad-Din Ayyubi, one of the greatest men of history, freed Al-Aqsa, that he was a king of multiple countries and he never paid zakah. Not because he was a tax avoider, but because he never had enough
didn't
wealth.
wealth to get the
Yeah,
zakat eligibility. Yes.
exactly. So people who could be kings but chose not to be, 7 out of the 10 of Ashara min al-Mubashirin who were guaranteed Jannah were extremely wealthy, including Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anh. I haven't calculated his wealth as of recent because gold has gone up, but he had something like 16 million golden pieces that was in his inheritance
Yeah.
that got distributed out. So today it would probably be over like $1 trillion.
Yeah.
So I calculated actually if you make food at home compared to outside, it's actually 5 to 10 times more because I can make a full pasta dish, which is like, it comes out to $2 or $3 per person. So we're often spending on stuff that is just gone for, like I have friends who make 3,000 and 1,000 is Uber Eats. So this is like stuff that just goes in the garbage basically.
Yeah.
I think your parents should help you in 3 main aspects if they have the financial means. First is to buy you a car, because if you have a car, you can go make money. I hated the bus. But I don't think parents should baby their child and pay for their insurance and gas. If they can't afford that, then they can't afford the car. And the second thing is to help pay for their school. And then the third, if they have the means and they have a good head on their shoulders, is to help them with the down payment.
Yes.
I'll ask you 2 questions.
Yes.
What's the number 1 source of stress for a married guy?
Money.
And what's the number 1 source of divorce?
Money.
Yeah, money. You're in the counselor's office, and she's like, my husband slammed the dishwasher and said you loaded it wrong. It's not about the
That's not
dishwasher.
the thing. Yeah.
They say about 70% of problems in a household are due to money. I'm not sleeping well. So if you're a married guy, because Islamically, a woman's money is her money.
And the guy's money is the family's money.
No.
No.
I always correct people. The guy's money is not everyone's money. He's responsible for everyone, but it's his money. I'm all for sister empowerment, but sometimes the sisters are like, well, I'm going to spend my money and his money because it's a right, and I'm going to waste, $80 for a candle or who knows what. La taqrabu zina. Like, you do not approach zina. Allah doesn't say don't do zina. It's first,
don't even get near zina.
First the compliment. No, it's not even the compliment. First it's like smile, the
look,
the little and then I'll help carry 18 chairs to the MSA room. Can you send me the notes? Yes. I'll send it to your iMessage. The quality is way better for PDF. Now the average is not 20, 25 people getting married. I'm doing a lot of weddings where people are 30, 35, 40.
Oh wow, really?
And it's too bad because you should grow with your spouse. There's no such thing as when I'm financially ready. I'm still not financially ready. Like, who is so secure in their finances that they're like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Just a couple percent. So you grow with your spouse. Whatever you have now is what we have, and you have to be on the same mentality.
This episode is proudly sponsored by the McMaster Students Union. The MSU presidential election is happening this month, and if you've ever thought about taking on a leadership position, being a part of student advocacy, or bringing forward new event ideas at McMaster, this is your chance. Voting is open from January 27th to January 29th. Join us at the All Candidates debate on January 27th and stop by our coffee house event the week before to learn why each candidate chose to run and what they stand for, beyond their platform points. Getting involved starts with being informed. To learn more about the candidates, events, and how to vote, follow at MSU_elections on Instagram. Your voice matters. Make it count. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back to Between Classes, Season 3, Episode 3. Today we have Ustadh Zaniar. We're going to be talking about the Halal Hustle, the management of finances from the Islamic lens. Ustadh Zaniar is known around the community for his discussion on finances from an Islamic lens. He does premarital counseling, and he's also working on his new platform, Mizan. Ustadh, do you want to further highlight Mizan and the platform you're developing?
Yeah, sure. So I've actually I tried to launch Mizan about 4 years ago.
Oh, subhanAllah.
So I would just a little context. So I shadowed our local Imam in Hamilton, Sheikh Hossam, for a couple of years, and I finally got to see the other side. So I saw,
The more
50,
brutal side on the other side.
exactly,
Yes, yeah.
50, 60 people calling a day.
Yes.
Everyone's
Yeah.
angry because you're the only person in their life. So there's a lot of expectations, and there's a lot of, as I say, 99% of the community is good,
Yeah.
but that 1% kind of ruins it for all.
Mhm.
Just like you have water, you could put one drop of, something impure, and it messes it all up. So
Yeah.
I saw imams getting abused, and I remember being in the masjid in uh, Sheikh Abdul Rauf, Allah yarhamu, was imam in Hamilton for about 15 years or something. And I remember cleaning out his office after he left. And anytime an imam leaves, they say, "Oh, he found a better opportunity," but
Yeah.
or he quit. There's none of that. It's all just being forced out. So I opened the cupboard and I found a book from the community. It was a log book.
Oh, subhanAllah.
So the community gave him a book of all of his problems. So it said February 1st, 2 p.m. Dhuhr, 30 seconds late.
Oh, subhanAllah,
Yeah,
really?
February 8th,
Allah Akbar.
Asr, 1.5 minutes. But
Yeah.
every problem he had was in there. It's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
So then I remember being in the masjid, 2 years, no imam. And it's just me and the old guys,
Yeah.
like really old, like, in their
The
70s and
masjid
80s.
uncles, yeah.
So then 2 years, just, I'm going. And then we had an imam for 6 months. He was great. Got fired. And then 2 years after that, no imam. Then finally, Sheikh Hussam got hired as imam, and I basically spent time with him, and I got to see the other side of things. The people who would swear to the imam. I've seen people like after a prayer, say something about their mothers, like just crazy things. And again, this is like the 5, 10 people in the community. But I realized that imams, sometimes the board or the community will say that your income is haram, and they put your income or they try to hold it above you.
Yeah.
So I wanted to realize, like, I wanted to create a platform where they had other opportunities. And a lot of imams actually rely on weddings or talks outside. And people have a problem with the imam making extra money.
Yeah.
They're doing a service, it's their own time. I see no issue in it. Even if you're a teacher, they're not going to stop you from tutoring outside.
Right.
Whatever job you have, as long as it's not conflicting with your job, you can go ahead and do that. So I started Mizan because I saw the issues in the community. One, like there's imams driving Uber, which is very sad.
Yeah.
There's students of knowledge, friends I went to Medina with that are graduating, going straight back to university because they don't want to be
Jobless or something along these
they don't
lines.
want to be in the Islamic space
Oh,
because of all the difficulties, and you're going to get underpaid and you're going to have to work 80 hours a week.
yeah. Overwork yourself.
So there are some people, it's very rare, but there's a couple of imams who do it freelance.
Yeah.
And they just go around, they do their thing, and they leave. So we need people like that, and we also need imams of masjids. So I don't want to take imams away from the masjid, but I don't want to have them drive Uber,
Yeah.
things like this. And as we know, like, it's not haram for them to get paid. They're going to have to get paid somewhere. And we don't live in, the desert of Saudi Arabia where you can have your house you made of bricks and a camel to give you milk
Yeah.
and no property tax. Like you can't live off of, Jazakallah khair. Yeah, Allah will reward you. But as I told the one brother before, fi sabilillah doesn't have to be free sabilillah. It's
that's
actually, when you look at the caliphates, they would actually have imams on payroll so that they can actually, be efficient.
Yeah.
Imagine a 10-year trained imam and he's just working Uber. And then maybe 10 hours on the side, he's helping the community. It's not his fault. So anyways, with Mizan, I tried to launch the platform a couple years ago. I didn't have the right team. But finally, alhamdulillah, it took a long time. I have a great team. And you can go on Mizan to book either institutions, someone for a lecture, khutbah, fundraiser, or you can also book like a counselor or someone for a wedding. And inshallah, in the next couple months, we're adding on Quran classes, different chaplaincy services for the university. So some free stuff, some paid stuff. But I want to give power to the imams to be able to earn an extra living and also to decentralize away from the control of some of the masajid. And I find it, the average person, like we're kind of in our own bubble here.
Yeah.
Everyone here knows an imam, but people find me from Google. How far do you have to be away from an Islamic community to find me on Google?
Search someone up.
And I don't even have much content online. So there are people who don't have access and they're too intimidated to go into a mosque.
Mm-hmm.
So we just have to make it easy for people. So accessibility is a big issue. So the next aspect of Mizan is just adding on Q&A. So I'm trying to get thousands of questions that have been asked to put on the platform that are relevant in the West.
Yeah.
And some people think, are you trying to modernize Islam? I remember I went to go visit, a young boy before he passed away, Allah yarhamah, and the parents, Desi culture. I was wearing a pants and shirt.
Yeah.
And they said in Urdu, why is he not wearing like a thobe and topi? And my friend in Urdu said, I don't know why he said, they said, they're modern imams. So I was like, what? So sometimes there's that expectation of
a certain dress code, a certain appearance.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Public. Yeah.
But yeah, the Q&A, like even Imam Shafi'i, he has his old fiqh and his new fiqh, depending on where he was.
Yeah.
So it's not wrong to have specialized fiqh for the West.
Yeah.
And that's inshallah, our goal, just to make anything Islamically, like all the Islamic services, just easy.
And I find that kind of profound that the platform not only is targeting the people, right? It's helping them, providing the services that they need, especially in our growing community, the need for counseling and, premarital counseling as well. These things are, growing rapidly. But you're also targeting the other side, the imams who are also needed in our community, right? Who are being underpaid, who are going through struggles of their own. So I believe that, the platform tackles both sides very well. Alhamdulillah, may Allah put barakah in it.
Amen.
Ustad, just to, before we go into the topic of the halal hustle, I wanted to ask you just a quick, sort of question, get to know you. I wanted to ask, what is a notable experience you've had recently? Something,
good or bad?
Good or bad? It can be either, whichever you prefer.
Okay. So I'll give you a couple. As I said, 99% of the community is amazing, but I highlight the 1% because people don't see the other side.
Right.
But I'll give you a good one, or I'll give you a bad one. Up until recently, up until last year, I had a car that like every 3 weeks was in the
shop.
In the shop.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the money to change it. It wasn't a priority, so I just kept fixing it.
Yeah.
It's hard to justify a newer car. But I mentioned it in a khutbah. Usually I give examples, but I try not to make it obvious that it's me.
Yeah.
But one of the brothers came up to me after and he said, is that you or just an example? And I said, yeah, but, alhamdulillah. Like, I don't know if you know about cars, but my car would go into limp mode.
Yeah.
Where you press the gas all the way. It just 100 kilometers an hour is the max and 2,000 RPM is the max. So you're just like, you think your body weight's going to speed it up. So he said, after the khutbah, is this a real situation? I said, yeah, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And the guy said, do you want a car? And I said, do I want a car? Yeah, he said, I'm a car enthusiast and I have a bunch of cars. You could just take it and just pay for the insurance. And like, it really warmed my heart that, I didn't take the car.
Okay.
But I didn't even ask, like, people asked me, what type of car? I was like, just a little too much. But it was just nice. Like someone who really loves you for the sake of Allah.
Showing that the community is, has each other's back.
I've seen him. I don't even know his name. So, just before I came here, I asked everyone's name because I feel bad. People come up to me and say, you did my wedding. And like, do you remember me? I'm like, of course. But not your name, But it was just nice. Like people want to help. And majority of people, they want to help.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, like we'll give the 1%. I'll give one from my father-in-law because he also performs weddings, and one from myself. He was doing a wedding and the people were saying, Sheikh, can we speed up? And he said, why, what's the rush? And they're like, the belly dancer's waiting outside to like, so it doesn't sound real. And I won't say what culture, but there's a certain culture that there's a guy behind the camera, but he knows. Yeah. But basically, I did a wedding where I ended up waiting like 3 hours. I never wait that long.
Right.
It was the last thing of the day, And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to ruin their experience.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be patient. And I got home at like 1 in the morning. But I get in and I said, okay, let's do the nikah. They said the groom is going to enter. He danced for like 30 minutes. I've never seen a group. I never seen a group. Like, I know they choreographed. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
30
yeah.
minutes. Then they sat down, another 20 minutes of just music playing and nothing happening, some photos. And then just waiting and waiting. I went to the bride's side in the room with her father, asked her permission, got the contract signed, got his contract signed. And then they said, you know what, the violinist is about to leave, like at 10. Like, we really, you know, they really want the violinist. They're
Yeah,
going to do
yeah.
their dance. I said, listen, and I do this often, I'm going to go wait outside and call me when you're done. And I waited and I waited and I'm like, how long? And I see the violinist leave.
Yeah, yeah.
So I start to go in and the floodgates open of like 200 people leave for food.
Oh,
And they said, oh, they're going to go up for food. So they went up for an hour and a half for food. And every time I said, okay, I can just leave. Then the sister would say, like, we really want you to stay. And 5 minutes later, the other brother would say, you could leave. So it was a limbo. So I just ended up waiting. But the point is, I never actually gave the talk. We did the contract in Ijab and Qubul. But the point is,
that entire 4 hour, 5 hour
yeah,
wait, right?
I just waited that many hours and because people prioritize, the wrong thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It really goes to show that, each community has its ups and downs, but if we focus on, as in the first example, uh, caring for each other and, helping each other and motivating each other, that we can uplift the sort of pitfalls that each individual has, right? Because everyone,
Yeah.
has something that that isn't the best
Mm,
about them. But with the community, that we can bring each other up, right? So, Ustad, now if we start discussing our topic for today, right? The halal hustle,
mm,
as we were calling it. I wanted you to outline sort of what does finance look like in today's age from the sort of Islamic lens. How did the Prophet ﷺ discuss finance, right? Because obviously finance is a big, big issue, right? For every single human being. There's no way you can get around life, right, without
mm.
the discussing money. It's not a barter society, right? What was the Prophet ﷺ sort of implementation of managing his finances and stuff like this, and how does that pull back to the Islamic application today?
Yeah, of course. Well, I know he didn't have a CIBC account, but they did things a
Right.
little different. We also have to look at the context of today. So anytime you look at fiqh, we're not saying let's throw away what they did back then, but there's new things that come in.
Yeah.
So we look at evidences from the Quran and the Sunnah. We look at ijma. We look at what the Sahaba would say, qiyas. But then there's new situations that come up.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had no credit cards back then, but they had credit. So there are things that we can analogize over. So the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned that, in his adhkar in the morning, in the evening as well, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-faqr wa su'ul kibr. Oh Allah, keep away poverty from me. So poverty is not actually a good thing.
Hmm.
We as a community think the Prophet, peace be upon him, was poor. He actually had multiple sources of income and he had a lot of money coming in. But people would say, "Oh, what about the story of the rock on his stomach?"
Yeah.
There were
Yeah. Yeah.
times of like boycott and of tougher times, but he had a lot of money coming in. But what would he do? He would always push it out and give it to people and be generous, just like Salah
That
ad-Din Ayyubi.
community aspect that we were talking about, right?
Exactly. So not like hoarding. Salah ad-Din Ayyubi, one of the greatest men of history, freed al-Aqsa, that he was a king of multiple countries and he never paid zakah. Not because he was a tax avoider, but because he never had enough
Didn't
wealth.
wealth to get the
Yeah,
zakat eligibility. Yes.
exactly. So people who could be kings but chose not to be. But again, uh, 7 out of the 10 of Ashara min al Mubashirin who were guaranteed Jannah were extremely wealthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not wealthy like millionaire, like a billionaire, finance, like battles and expeditions,
Yeah. Yeah.
including Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu. And I love to go over his example. I haven't calculated his wealth as of recent because gold has gone up, but he had something like 16 million golden pieces that was in his inheritance
Yeah.
that got distributed out. So today it would probably be over like $1 trillion. So as you know, he was one of the muhajirun, came from Mecca to Medina, and people just left everything. You can't really, go across the
Bring it back.
desert.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's no Uber Eats and all
Especially
this.
that all that amounts, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So he started from scratch, and the Prophet peace be upon him would pair people. And one of the guys said, "You can, take a portion of my house." And I won't explain the other portion because it needs a lot of context.
Yeah, yeah.
But he said, "Just, show me where the market is." And he started. A lot of people don't know. He started trading something that no one wanted, like dried yogurt.
Oh.
So imagine it's like me getting paper clips.
Yeah, yeah. It's
There's
like
YouTube videos, people
not
go from a paper clip to like
a
a car.
Ferrari. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's slowly trading up. And so whenever there was an opportunity to make money, he would take it. But whenever there's an opportunity to give,
Good kid.
he would give. So it's like wealth is really good. We need wealth.
Yeah, yeah.
And we shouldn't strive to be poor. This is actually an anti-Islamic,
Yeah, yeah.
principle.
So, Ustad, obviously there's that strive to not be poor, right? But today, I mean, we're living in that sort of hustle culture, right? The sort of there's the red pill movement and things like of these nature, where there's the grind aspect, right? So I gotta have a mansion, I gotta
Mm.
have $1 million in the bank account, ready for any sort of situation, and so in achieving that sort of hustle culture, or sort of like that appearance of that sort of rich sort of outlook for the public, right? I think a lot of students, a lot of people, they end up sort of overindulging in things that they can't actually afford, right? And with the ability to, have credits and sort of loans and so easily accessible in today's age, there's a lot of, people going into debt, right? And for things that they don't really necessarily need. So how do we sort of, as students, tackle this, right?
Mm.
Like, how do we sort of avoid that overlooking when we're looking at others, like, oh, they have this, I also need
Yeah, yeah.
this, I also need the newest iPhone, things
Mm.
like these of these nature, and how are we supposed to be content, right, with what we're at, the state we're at?
Yeah. This was actually tough for me growing up because I came from a very low income family,
Yeah.
to the point where like, there's things you want. I remember there were class trips for $20.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't go on them.
Oh
And
man.
there were, like, I just want to cry for myself
Like
right
those
now.
bus rides down to like
Yeah,
this,
exactly.
yeah, the
If it's
science
not free,
center.
we're not going.
Right, right,
And I remember certain things like my mom would make like my siblings and I clothes. She's a tailor.
oh
So like sometimes, you get clothes that are made by your mom, but alhamdulillah, the barakah was there. I never felt like we were hungry,
yeah.
but there were difficult situations, especially you go to your friends' houses and you realize like, mashallah,
Right,
like
they have like their PS4s or something like
it's
this,
very
right?
easy. Yeah. That was actually a PS1 days.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna feel old now. But it's very easy to look at what other people have.
Yeah.
But the challenge is like our parents' generation, where they came from, there was no such thing as credit. Maybe they would borrow money from someone.
But it wasn't that easily accessible loan aspect,
Even
right?
mortgages, like even now in the Middle East, a lot of places you buy an apartment, you pay over 7 years,
Yeah, yeah.
it's paid off. There's no interest
It's not the
there.
mortgage aspect here where there's a percentage of the interest built on and stuff like this,
Yeah.
right?
So now a lot of the scholars mention that if you spend more than you make, that's technical difficulties. If you spend more than you make, then you're actually, to Allah, you're basically saying to Allah that you're not thankful for what He gave you.
Yeah, yeah.
I make 3,000, I spend four. It's a big problem. The issue is all of us right now can go, especially if you have a little credit history. I can probably go get 20, 30,000 of credit cards today.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
to Best Buy, go to other
It's
place.
easy. It's very easy to apply and get them, right?
Yeah, the challenge is my phone is financed and my couch is financed and my car. Like I understand the bigger ticket items because sometimes it's hard to save
It's
up.
a little more difficult to hit that like
Yeah,
$5,000 deposit right off the bat or something
but
like
now
this,
like
right?
in the US there's Klarna
Yeah,
and you
those
can actually finance Burger King, like a $40 meal over 4 months. Yeah,
those afterpay things, right? Like the
exactly.
4 months bit of a purchase. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And even if it's 0% interest, it's not the issue. I have a job today, next month I don't.
Right. It's like there's
So
nothing confirmed that you're going to be able to pay it off next
So
month,
I have
right?
40 things in my house that's financed compared to just kind of cash flowing things. So interest aside, which we should avoid, is trying to cash flow as much stuff as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, I'm in the wedding space and I see people compare themselves, but
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes I'll visually look and I'll calculate this wedding here costed $500. So a couple sweets, imam's fee, good to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I go to like the golf courses and I'm like, this is like just 150,000 of who knows what.
I know recently a family that they're doing okay, right? But I came to find out how much they spent on their, son's wedding. And I was astounded. I was like, you do not have this wealth that I
Yeah.
like
And no
that
one
is perceived,
remembers.
right?
No
And
one
no one
remembers.
remembers in the end of the day, right? It's one day event. Food was good. Sure, I'll remember that. That's something I'll remember. But the event is, it's just something that happens and goes, right?
Yeah. So I think people just focus, just to end the points, people focus on what they don't have. And instead, like they try to finance their whole world.
Yeah.
And it works sometimes until they lose their job or something else happens where a random expense comes. Rarely nowadays, like the amount of people who have $1,000 in their bank with no debt, just having that, you are above probably 80% of the population.
So, Ustad, do you say there should be a sort of rule or mindset that people have? Like, if you're going to buy, let's say you're going to buy like an iPhone, we were using this example, right? What are they at? $1,000 almost right now. Should there be a certain amount in your bank account that you're going to have before this $1,000 purchase? Is there like
I
a,
know there's rules like that, and
yeah,
I used to have, if you can't buy it twice and don't buy it,
yeah, yeah.
but even those are problems.
Why is that?
Okay, my phone I have the iPhone 12.
Yeah.
Okay,
Me as well, the
yeah,
mini though,
yeah.
but
So people look at me like I'm a pilgrim,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
I've
So
gotten my discussions, don't
yeah,
worry.
so iPhone. I remember I was teaching a class. Actually, I had an iPhone 6, and the 12 was out, and these guys were just joking
They're
around
like,
with me.
"Ustad, we're
Yeah, yeah.
are we not paying you?" Yeah.
So my phone is something I use every day.
Yes.
I consider it a business expense. It makes me money.
It's an asset. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's a
It's a
revenue
tool, right?
generating tool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And even like let's say a sweater. I've had, sweaters, like I have a polo sweater. It was expensive to start off with, but I've been wearing it for 12 years.
That it pays off over the
Yeah,
time, right?
quality is good. It's not like the
You're not having
Timu.
to buy something else again and again and again.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So certain things that are quality, but for example, like I can go out right now, get a burrito with, a friend. It's like $40
Yeah.
and it's gone.
Food's going up, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I calculated actually if you make food at home compared to outside, it's actually 5 to 10 times more because I can make a full pasta dish, which is like it comes out to $2 or $3 per person.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're often spending on stuff that is just gone. For like I have friends who make 3,000 and 1,000 is Uber Eats. So this is like stuff that just goes in the garbage basically.
Yeah.
Compared to like your phone, it lasts. Yes, it costs 1,500, but it's very much worth it. So certain
It's
things that will make you
it's
money
sort of growing your wealth as well in that sense, right?
compared
It's
to
not
just
a,
like a daily.
yeah, yeah, daily expenditure sort of
Yeah,
thing.
and like you're not gonna get rich from not having your daily coffee. But I still recommend like, your coffee with your bagel. It's gonna end up being thousands of dollars. So
Over
don't
time.
deprive
Yeah, yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
But if it's a
But look
daily
at it
thing,
over time, right? Look at the cost that builds up over the year and so on and so
yeah,
forth.
like
Yeah, yeah.
your 2 years of coffee plus like or your cream cheese bagel is like
It
is
becomes like
it's
eight
a
to
used
seven,
Honda
8. Yeah.
Civic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. By the end of the month,
So I
year.
don't think a rule is applicable if you have this or that, but you just try to think, is this going to make me money? And how much is this going to improve my life?
Mhm.
So for me, if I'm eating out, it's just because of convenience.
Right.
So I have a talk. I know I'm going to have a headache. I'm going to get something from
Get something
outside,
just to make yourself a little
but I won't have a
big.
habit every day. I'm going to go to Tim Hortons and get this and that because now
Now it's like
habits.
$6 every day. 6 times 5 is what, 30, and then so on and so forth, right? So, but yeah, I wanted to now discuss sort of the battle of the future, right? We've kind of talked about how managing it right now. So, how about, the overlook for the future? How, when we're sort of thinking, we're like, oh, I need to be secure, right? I need to pay off my debts and things like this as a student. That's some of the main concerns, right? So, I think one of the first things to discuss is obviously that sort of debt and repayment. A lot of students, especially here
Mhm,
in like Canada and stuff, we have the access to OSAP and things like these, where you can have a loan given to you for your student
mhm.
debt or your student tuition. What is the most effective way that a student sort of manages their finance and sort of builds a sort of method that maybe by the end of their degree or by like the year after or so on and so forth, they can have that structure set in place that they pay off everything, and it's not a concern where they're living under that stress of like constant debt and
Of
I
course.
need to make that payments off and stuff like this.
I'll ask you two questions. What's
Yes,
the number one source of stress for a married guy?
money,
And what's the number one source of divorce or divorce related problems?
money.
Yeah, money.
Yeah,
So, you might think you're in the counselor's office, and she's like, my husband slammed the dishwasher and said you loaded it wrong.
yeah.
It's not about the
That's not the
dishwasher.
thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just
It's the bigger problem in the
it's the
picture.
bigger problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they say about 70% of problems in a household are due to money.
Hmm.
I'm not sleeping well. So if you're a married guy,
Yeah, yeah.
because Islamically, a woman's money is her money.
And the guy's money is the family's money.
No,
No.
I always correct people.
Oh,
The guy's money is not everyone's money.
okay.
He's responsible for everyone, but it's his money.
Yes.
So tomorrow, if they divorce, they keep what they have.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course.
But I'm all for sister empowerment. But sometimes the sisters are like, "Well, I'm going to spend my money and his
And
money
his money.
because it's a right, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to waste $80 for a candle or who knows what." Yeah, I'm not speaking from experience, but yeah, but yeah, money. If you want to be a happy man
Yeah, yeah.
and happily married, put yourself in a position where you have slightly less than everyone else, but no debt.
Mm-hmm.
Like the typical thing of like people counting sheep or just trying to fall asleep.
Oh, the like count sheep till you fall asleep
Yeah.
sort of thing. Yeah, yeah.
So like you do azkar and stuff like that.
And
But
then you count the sheep jumping over the fence.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
so a lot of men, they just dream of like, imagine waking up. Who cares about the money in my bank? Let's say we have zero, but
Okay.
I have no debt.
Okay.
That will take. You'll see that some people like they're gonna now lose weight. Their cortisol levels are lower.
Yeah, yeah.
They're gonna have less gray hair. They're gonna fight with their wife less.
Yeah.
So just overall, your life gets better. You have a couple less things.
Because that outside stress doesn't come inside, right? I think a lot of sort of family issues that I've seen, right, is that the sort of the guy or the guy in this case, like they're the one working, they're bringing the money in, and
Mhm.
there's problems happening on that end, right? Some issues from the business or work or whatever, and that stress is built up, and then that just comes offloaded onto
Yeah.
the
He
household,
has no
right?
patience.
Right?
He's yelling.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
loads. So yeah, the aspect that you're talking
Mm.
about, right, the finance thing is a big issue in
So
that sense.
the general principle I give people is try to cash flow everything. I think your parents should help you in three main aspects if they
Yeah.
have the financial means.
Yeah.
First is to buy you a car, because
Okay.
if you have a car, you can go make money.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
can go be efficient,
Yeah. Yeah.
not taking the bus all the time. And I hated the bus.
Believe me.
Yeah, but I don't think parents should baby their child and pay for their insurance and gas. They should, if they can't afford that, then they can't afford the car. Now you kind of have a dependency on your parents.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't motivate you to go and seek what
Yeah.
you need to, right?
So you can't. I don't want to put people in a position where their parents are financing their lifestyles. But if you can pay for the maintenance and gas, and the second thing is to help pay for their school.
Yeah.
Or even if it's an interest-free loan, at least to help them avoid that. And then the third, if they have the means and they have a good head on their shoulders, is to help them with the down payment.
On a house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did a podcast with Sheikh Arij recently,
Yes.
an Islamic finance expert. So this is his recommendation. So don't shoot me in the comments. But he was saying that for students, you should take as much OSAP as you can get,
Yes.
and obviously when you graduate, your best
Is to pay off the
principal
interest amount. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you can write a check at least for the principal amount,
Yeah. Yeah.
so take as much as you can. Don't waste anything like buy extra stuff, but take as much as you can, and throughout school work and try to pay it off.
Right.
And if you can get a loan from your parents or anything, just to pay off the actual
The
principal
interest
portion,
amount. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so that the loan gets paid off quicker. Now, in general, we should try to avoid things that are interest bearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But some of the scholars you see, like Amja in the US, or some other scholars will say, you know what, certain things are considered a necessity.
Mhm.
And that's another debate. If it's a necessity, can it validate interest?
Right. Right.
But the goal is, like, I took student loans,
Yes.
but I also worked 2 jobs in school
At the time to pay
and
it
I
off.
paid it off.
Yeah.
And you can also apply for like interest free.
Loan. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So take as much OSAP as you can get, pay off the principal as soon as you can. And if you want to be happy, just live like a cash flow lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah.
And ideally, you don't move out from your parents until you actually get married and whatnot. But having 3 to 6 months of expenses,
Sort
subhanAllah,
of settled.
you're
Yeah.
just happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though you don't have much, you have your 3 to 6 months. You'll realize people are just kinder. They're happier. They have less gray hairs.
Yeah, yeah. So on this sort of discussion of marriage and things, a lot of the universities sort of student lifestyle is this topic, because obviously as you reach this age, that's the thing, the main priority, right, for many. Um, on this topic of finance, obviously we talked about how you have to cover like your responsibilities on the family and things of this nature. But as a student, right, there may be a case where you're able to cover finances, or like you're just studying at the moment, and you have the possibility open to you of a marriage proposal or of things of this nature. Is this something you would disregard at this point, or is, like, since you don't have the finance background at that, or the finance capability of covering for this other person, or is this something that we do consider because of the benefits that come out of it?
It depends on the person you're marrying. If so, I'll talk in a guy's perspective. If the girl is willing to be patient
Yeah.
and she's willing to live how she's living now, and maybe we don't eat out for a couple of years, and we just, the way I'm living is in my parents' home.
Yeah.
Come move in, either in the bedroom or the basement,
Yeah, yeah.
and live like that. And if she was willing to be patient, then great. If it's someone who's not like that and she's going to expect certain things,
Yeah, yeah.
then it's not the right person and probably don't do it. But I know like some MSAs are against getting married, or I
In this
guess,
sort of undergrad sort of
yeah, you
timeline.
have to kind of hide it and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is one of the best places to find someone. Obviously, you have to change your intention. Like, you shouldn't come to events and the
You're
guys.
scouting for everyone. Yeah,
Can
yeah,
the brother move the chairs? He has like 15 chairs in his hand, deadlifting.
all of
So
a sudden, they have a lot of strength,
yeah,
right? Yeah, yeah.
so obviously your sincerity should be there, but what better place? Because now the average is not 20, 25 people getting married. I'm doing a lot of weddings where people are 30, 35,
Oh
40.
wow, really?
Yeah.
That's
And it's too bad because you should grow with your spouse.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
no such thing as,
You'll reach a peak,
when
and
I'm
then
financially ready.
yeah,
I'm still not financially ready. Like,
yeah.
who is so secure in their finances that they're like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Just a couple
It's
percent.
yeah.
So you grow with your spouse and just, whatever you have now is what we have. And you have to be on the same mentality.
And you discuss this with the other parents, your parents, sort of develop a plan for both of you, and then work
Yeah.
towards that. Yeah.
And culturally, people say, oh, we need a house.
Yeah.
My mom was telling me when they first moved to the country, $5,000 is a down payment. Now, 5,000, I promise you, you can't even do a quarter of your driveway paving. So you need like 30 grand for your driveway.
Rent in some places is like 5,000.
So we need to switch this expectation of
Yeah, yeah.
what we need and just keep it to the
Requirements,
basics.
right? And like both sides have to look at the other perspective and things like this. So, Ustad, just on this topic, right? We, as Muslims, obviously, we have the belief in, like, qadar, right? The belief of destiny and stuff like this. So, I was wondering, um, there's obviously the statement that your rizq is written, right? Allah has written your rizq. So how does a sort of student analyze that, right? Is this something that just with time the money flows in
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
of
comes into
course.
your pocket, or do we still put that grind in? Do we put our effort into our studies, things
Yeah.
like
We
this?
think we're Maryam alayhi salam, where the fruits just come
Yeah,
down. And
yeah.
yeah, so this
They just end up in the room, like
so qadr is a very detailed conversation. There's multiple types of qadr. There's not just one, two, or three.
yeah,
So there's like a qadr in Lawh Mahfuz, the preserved tablet.
yes,
There's a qadr that changes like Ramadan to Ramadan, or there's even dua, certain du'as the Prophet peace be upon him made that would say like this can actually affect qadr. So the point is, there's tawakkul, which is like planting a seed and the result coming, and Allah does the rest. But then there's other things of, like tawakkul is basically trusting Allah that you put the effort, Allah will do the rest. The problem comes is the other word, I don't know if you've heard of it, called tawakkul. Tawakkul is the opposite. I want a job, but I'm just like playing, Fortnite or PS5. And ya
In
Allah,
mom's basement.
yeah, ya Allah, R1, R2, it's gonna come.
It's
And
all coming in. Yeah,
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 so this is tawakkul,
yeah.
where
Yeah,
we don't actually put the effort, we expect it to come. One of the conditions of dua is that we make dua, but we actually do what is required afterwards. So yes, it is in your qadr, but the qadr, certain parts of the qadr can be affected and changed.
yeah.
So if you're going to be lazy, good luck. It's not going to come.
Right, right. Okay, Ustad, let's just go into a sort of general Q&A session, right? A lot of, I think, the problem in sort of the Western sort of atmosphere is that we don't have the direct connection to the imams and the shuyukh anymore, right? The ability to just speak to them and sort of have the questions of our answered, right? So we sort of have a few questions that the students, or everyone of our time has or wants to be able to discuss. So I was hoping let's just quickly have those
Yeah, let's
sort
do
of
it.
questions, right? So you can be as general as you want. So there's a scenario that I'll pose to you, right?
It's not you, right? Okay.
This isn't me.
Okay.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, 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 no.
yeah. Okay. Wink,
This
wink.
is
Yeah.
abstract, all
Okay.
abstract.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetical. It's
Yeah.
not the scenario. Oh, my friend, when I
Yeah.
am the guy. The question does start with my friend though.
Okay. No worries. No worries. We know. Yeah.
So the scenario is living in university. It's not just a sort of Muslim land. You're living with non-Muslim people. You might be in residence with non-Muslim people, and your classmates are mostly non-Muslim, right? And so there's a scenario. My friends, they're going to a party, right? The Halloween was happening recently, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of things were happening
Of
around.
course.
So the friend is going to a party, right? And I'm sort of feeling left out, right? Obviously, I'm not gonna compromise. I'm not gonna drink. I'm not gonna do any of this, but I feel left out if I
Yeah.
don't go. Like I'm missing out on the
Like,
experience.
can we make a Halaloween?
Halloween,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Like, can we be in a
So
compromised situation but doing the halal?
yeah, so is it wrong for me in this
Mm,
scenario to sort of go and sort of go with the friends, not do anything haram,
of
right? I
course.
won't be interacting with
Yeah.
anyone. I won't be doing the drinking or all these things, but just the experience,
Of
right?
course. I'll give you two quick stories.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
One guy told me, he's like, I've never heard this before. He said, Alhamdulillah, all my friends drink, smoke, but I've never done any of it. And I
Okay.
was thinking, okay, maybe they haven't gotten you to do it, but you think they're getting you to do something good.
Yeah, yeah.
So you might be maintaining your position. Um, like imagine being in a club reading Quran. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So there was actually a brother, true story. There's a picture of him on Facebook
Yeah.
in a bar holding a drink.
Allah.
And the people were like, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he's like, look, zoom in. It's orange juice. It was orange juice. But why are you in the bar?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why are you
So,
setting that sort of impression for others, right? There's the
yeah.
aspect, right? The story of the Prophet ﷺ when he's with his wife in the night, right?
Mm,
And he's walking from the masjid,
mm.
and he comes and tells the two Sahaba, right, that this is my wife, right?
Yeah.
Just because
Get rid of
he
doubt.
mentioned, right, that the shaitan flows through you, and he's there to sort of put doubt in you, right?
Yeah.
Sort of set a bad impression of others. So we have to sort of be careful in how others can perceive a scenario, right?
Yeah.
Especially in this sort of
Exactly.
case.
So the challenge is we're desensitized to certain things. Like I remember opening a YouTube video and the ad playing before, and I was beside an imam, and there was just some like music or something popped up,
Yeah, yeah.
and to him it was like, I think there was a girl without a hijab, and it was such a big deal to him. But I realized, wow, I'm that desensitized. Like I'm not even reacting to it, and we're in certain situations where like we are in a compromised situation.
Mm-hmm.
I would say best case scenario, we don't do anything haram,
Yeah.
but we're in a bad situation. But worst case is you are slowly brought
It's
closer to it.
it's that thing, right? You're
La taqrabu
tough.
zina. Like you do not approach zina. Allah doesn't say don't do zina. It's
It's don't
first,
even get near zina,
yeah,
right?
first the compliment. No, it's not even the compliment. First, it's like
The
smile,
look, yeah,
smile,
yeah,
the
and then the
look,
little, yeah, yeah,
and then I'll help carry 18 chairs to the MSA room,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then
And
it's
then a
like,
little talk, a discussion starts
can you
happening.
send me the notes?
Ah, yes.
I'll send it to your iMessage
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. Just my, yeah,
the
yeah.
quality is way better for
Oh,
PDF. Yeah.
Jazakallah khairan, you did so well in your notes. Yes, right. Your
Yeah.
handwriting is so nice, all these sort of things, right?
And shaitan will get you to do 50,000 bad things before something actually new.
The next question is a lot of students obviously deal with this, a lot of youngsters, a lot around the world
You're like an uncle of these youngsters. Yeah.
These youngsters, right? I feel old. I'm now 21, so I like to
Mashallah.
portray that I'm a much older individual. So I was. The question is, um, you know, there's this sort of mentality going around the lo-fi music scenario. It's like you have this music in the background while you study. You're doing your productivity. So the question arises: is music haram? I'm just using it to study, focus in, tune in, but obviously, if music is haram, I don't want to compromise. So, what is the answer to
Of
this?
course, music is a large spectrum. So we'll go from one spectrum to another. There's things like, people doing poetry. That's like the most halal version. People doing poetry, people doing vocals only.
Yeah, yeah.
Those things I'm not worried about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ibn al-Qayyim, may Allah be pleased with him, said that the person who has music in their heart cannot also have Quran. It's like water and oil.
Right.
So same thing with music. I won't even answer the question, is it halal or haram necessarily?
Yeah.
But I always think if I do something for 10,000 hours, what's my benefit? If I learn marketing for 10,000 hours, you'll be an expert. 100,000 hours of music, you've gotten nowhere. You've
Right.
memorized hundreds of songs, and now your brain is full of useless stuff. So is it beneficial? Not really. My favorite music genre, I go on YouTube and I type in river with fire,
Oh, this
and
back.
then the crackling
Yeah,
sound, and
the fire pit sort of
yeah.
sound effects. Yeah,
So I like stuff like that. The thing is, we're allowing ourselves to be. Imagine someone at nighttime when you sleep, they're whispering about like, fornication and drugs. And
yeah.
you're not going to let someone do that. You're
Right.
not going to let someone talk to your kids about these things.
Yeah.
So I think, would the Prophet, peace be upon him, listen to music? And the people who even have an argument for music, they're not
Referring
talking
to the
about
modern day sort of.
what's on the radio today.
Yeah. The
They're
sort of.
more so like, there are Muslims who listen to music. Those guys who are more studious,
Yeah.
they're more like the guitar ones
Yeah. Yeah.
who say, I guess, nasheeds and stuff like that.
Mhm.
They're arguing more so for that compared to,
The sort of rap culture of today and
yeah,
things of these
I don't know
nature.
one scholar who has said like
That
this,
this is like a
the
sort of
rap
thing.
and all that
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff is okay, or
Okay. Okay. Jazakallah khairan. So let's just go back to our topic of discussion, the sort of hustle discussion of money and this. So the last sort of thing I wanted to discuss was when you're sort of chasing the money, right? We talked about this a little, of course, sort of looking at others and things of this nature and sort of reliance. Uh, but one thing that we end up sort of doing, I see this a lot in the students, right? A lot of, and now I'm calling you call me youngsters, but I see this a lot in the people are,
all the ganda witches, right?
yeah, the,
Yeah.
is that in their pursuits of trying to get wealth and trying to get a job, like trying to get an interview, they'll sort of cut corners, right? They'll be like, okay, this isn't going to be considered cheating,
Mm.
or this is like, I need to cheat on
Yeah, yeah.
this sort of test so I can get a good grade, so I can get the job on these sort of things. So I wanted to sort of look at that lens of academic dishonesty and sort of the connection to the barakah of your risk,
Yeah.
right? Because obviously there's a direct connection, right? Because we're studying why? To get our degrees to earn a sort of job from that degree and then make wealth, right? But if our sort of grounding is this sort of shaky mess, how does that affect our sort of risk?
So everywhere you go, there's going to be people who cheat, because to actually do really well in school or academics, it takes a lot of effort.
Hmm.
And I remember, I don't know if it was Hajjawi, one of the scholars, hundreds of years ago, hundreds of years ago. I think around, the scholar was talking about, one of my teachers mentioned, I think 600 AD, and he said he made his fiqh book a mukhtasar, a shorter version,
Yeah, yeah.
because the distractions of today are too many.
Hmm.
What distractions were there, like even in the 1800s?
Yeah. Nowadays,
Almost
it's like
nothing.
everything is a distraction, right?
Yeah, so the distractions are many nowadays. And we were talking about, sorry, the just remind me.
The discussion is the academic dishonesty aspect and
Yes,
connecting to the barakah.
even when I was in Medina and I was in the Arabic Institute,
Yes.
and the teacher would leave the class, people from certain cultures, it was they're just
The
they're looking.
attendance, yeah,
We're in
yeah.
an Islamic university, studying. We're arguably could be in the haram, and people are still cheating in certain areas. Now, some people would do that. Everywhere you go, you see people cheat,
Yeah.
and people don't want to put the time and effort in. Unfortunately, we don't just look at the end result. Let's say you even get the job, you get the career,
Yeah.
but there's no barakah in it.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of guys, even till today, they make a lot of money, but they live like they're poor. And I know multiple people in my
As in
life.
from a physical sense or like a spiritual sense?
Like I know some people, they make crazy amounts of money
Yeah,
equal to
yeah.
five, six people a month in their
Okay.
salary,
Hmm.
but they have nothing and they're not happy.
Yeah.
And ask anyone in the room and say, if I made 200, 400,000 a year, would I be happy? Everyone will say, yeah, of course. Like I can do this and that. But a lot of these guys are very depressed because the money just amplifies who they are. So the 70,000 a year compared to 150, instead of looking at like the quality of the money that's in there, the barakah that's in there, you did things right. And there's some people who make 50 and they have happy lives,
Yeah, yeah.
and some people who make so much more, but they cheated in life. And the ayah says, وَتُحِبُّونَ الْمَالَ حُبًّا جَمًّا. The scholars interpret, and people love wealth in huge amounts.
Hmm.
It's almost like a big fish that eats a bunch of little fish. So you're willing to crush the people around you to get your wealth. You're not going to live a good life.
Yeah. And so I guess this goes back into that topic of sort of connecting back to Allah, right? Um, we've been given the time, the means, as you said, to put in the effort. How do we, in these moments, right, when we feel we're going to possibly fall into the sin, or when we feel down, how do we connect back and we realize that this is something I'm doing for Allah, right? He's
Yeah,
given me the time, the energy, and there will be the payout, right? The risk is written and there
yeah,
will be good written for me. How do we
yeah,
keep that in mind so that we don't fall into
yeah. The
any.
Quran mentions, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Ask Allah and He will answer. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ عِبَادَتِي سَيَدْخُلُونَ جَهَنَّمَ دَاخِرِينَ. And those who are too arrogant to ask me will go into the hellfire, basically humiliated.
Yeah.
So it's actually a point of arrogance that, I did this in the khutbah yesterday. I said, who here, and obviously I tell people because if I don't say this asterisk, people actually raise their hand.
Okay.
I say, who here in the past month has sat down with Allah at nighttime, no one around, and made dua for 5 minutes? And, I think about myself as well. Imagine you're married
Yeah.
and you're like, yeah, I haven't talked to my wife in like months and nothing more than a couple seconds here or there. So we don't ask Allah as much as we should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I get this question a lot is like, what's the dua for selling my house? What's the dua for health? What's the dua for? So I just tell people do the adhkar in the morning and adhkar in the evening. If you don't know what they are, adhkar is the plural of dhikr. Don't do one dua. Do the du'as from the sunnah that cover everything.
Hmm.
Poverty, health, wealth, happiness, everything like that. It takes about 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening.
Evening.
YouTube, morning adhkar, evening adhkar, and it covers everything. But again, like we're making the dua, we're asking Allah, we put in the effort, you won't be disappointed. But I think, we're in a culture where we want to blame others.
Yeah.
Oh, I come from a poor household, or Elon Musk has $1 trillion and therefore that's why I live a bad life. So we want to point and point. It is true, there are people who affect your life, but if we talk about Justin Trudeau for a month, it doesn't change
Nothing
anything.
changes unless you put in the action,
Yeah,
right?
so put in, as the Quran says, "Qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara."
Yeah.
Fix yourself and then the people around
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I think that's, that's comprehensive, right? When we consider Allah, right, and we connect with Allah, when we have these moments of like, academic dishonesty, or like those, the job offers that are a little iffy, or like, lying on resumes, or like all these sort of things that we can fall into. When we connect back and we consider Allah in the moments, and we you have that sort of regiment of, being with, connecting with Allah in the morning and the evening, making the dua, then that sort of pulls us back, right? And grounds us and makes us realize, no, like the risk is written and this isn't something I should do. Because the risk is written, why not do it through, like, obviously do it through the halal means,
If
right?
you're written for 80,000 a year,
You're
whether
gonna
you
get it.
sell pencils or pepperoni, it's gonna come.
It's gonna come the same way,
Yeah.
right? So better to go through that halal route.
Yeah, and the hadith also mentions that the person, not just the one who is selling the wine, but who's squeezing the grapes, who's transporting it,
That entire
who
process,
the
right?
whole process.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
it's not like there's a lack of halal jobs out
Yeah, yeah.
there.
Exactly, right? And we're just talking about, purifying our intentions and our life and connecting with Allah. There's obviously a pillar, right? Connecting directly to wealth in a sense, the pillar of zakat,
Yeah, very
right?
neglected.
Very, very neglected. Yeah. And so how do I know obviously many students obviously are currently dealing with the debt aspect and
Mm.
stuff, but how do we incorporate that zakat into our lives, the sort of sadaqah aspect, and how does that help us purify? And possibly, obviously, discussing what zakat is and these third
Of
things.
course. So zakah, at tazakka, you are basically purifying what you have. Just like the sunnah helps, the sunnah prayer helps your fard, the umrah helps, so many other things. So these are the extra acts, they are there to perfect your,
Core acts,
yeah,
the
the core.
foundation, the fard, yeah.
Exactly. So zakah, when the Prophet ﷺ told Salman al-Farisi radiallahu anh, to go to Yemen,
Yeah.
he said, first tell them about the shahada,
Mm-hmm.
then salah, then zakah. Not siyam, tahajjud, qiyam al-layl. Um, we usually focus on too many things. Like we had a conversion at masjid. I won't say the masjid. We had a conversion, and then the guys around the new convert were saying, there's qiyam al-layl and tahajjud,
You're
and
revealing all these sort of extra
yeah,
things that aren't the requirements,
yeah.
right?
Why are we telling him about level 50?
When they have to,
Yeah,
when you don't even have the foundation, the
we
base
didn't even
set.
press new game yet. Like we're just
Yeah,
0%.
it's like that thing,
Yeah.
right? And when the sort of the times of the Sahaba, when the rulings of alcohol were coming out, it wasn't a blatant thing of just
19 years.
removal, right? It wasn't
Alcohol took 19
right.
years.
It
Yeah.
wasn't a blatant removal because Aisha radiallahu anha stated in the hadith where if the first rulings were of alcohol and I forget the other thing, but the people wouldn't accept it, right?
Yeah.
It's especially for reverts and this nature, you'd set the foundations, right? The principles, the fard,
Exactly.
zakat, and the salah, and things like
So
these.
zakah is one of the five pillars, something that almost no one understands. And because I'm building a zakah calculator myself,
Yeah.
I looked into the space and I realized I used to think, okay, maybe out of 100 people, maybe 10 will understand.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's out of 1,000,
That a person
maybe
understands their
one will
zakat
understand.
properly.
Yeah. The general rule is that it's not like income tax.
Yeah.
So it's not I know we have an accountant in the room. It's not the income statement. The income statement has nothing to do with it, but it's the what is it called? Remind me the
Balance sheet.
the balance sheet, I believe. Yeah, of assets and liabilities,
Yes.
right? Perfect. He's not gonna get hired next time, but alhamdulillah. But it's the balance sheet. So if I have $1 million coming into my bank and $1 million leaving,
Yeah.
there's no zakah.
Mm-hmm.
It's generally the money you've
Because you're
had.
zeroed out, right?
Exactly. It's generally the money you've had for a year's time. Or a lot of people will do a spot check just to make it easy.
Mm-hmm.
On this day, it doesn't have to be paid on Ramadan.
Mm-hmm.
Any day in the year, it's good to stick to the same day, is look at my bank account, take 2.5% of that. That's a very simple way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it purifies the wealth. And there is a time in Islamic history where this 2.5% actually solved, like there was no one to take sadaqah or any you know uh, there was no one who needed sadaqah. So basically people would put their zakat on a tree and write a note and just say, if you need it for anything, just take it. So it is actually calculated that zakat, although it's only 2.5%, it will solve poverty.
Yeah.
Compared to like an income tax, which is not really like something we should have in Islamic countries. But yeah, zakat is very um, misunderstood,
Under-focused.
and even when you go to the charities websites, you just have like there's assets you have, and then there's liabilities. They all get you to calculate the
The
assets,
assets and then liabilities are
but they add
not
nothing
as
for
focused.
liabilities.
Yeah.
So you end up overpaying zakat, which we should actually have something accurate. So, inshallah, I'll be releasing something soon.
Inshallah, yeah.
But the point is that if you are in interest-bearing debt or debt in general, especially interest-bearing, stop giving sadaqah. Like, you should be paying off that debt to get out of that
Because
huge
those
sin.
are the requirements, right? You're going to be questioned about what you owe others, right?
Exactly.
For the extra sort of things. It's like you gotta pray your fard prayer before you engage in
Yeah,
your sunnah. Otherwise, like you're missing out on the foundations, right?
exactly.
Yeah. So, Ustad, as we sort of wrap up, I wanted to sort of summarize what we discussed, and some of the main takeaways that I had was that it's not about attainment of everything in the dunya, right? It's not about having that Ferrari, the newest gadgets, and all these things, but sort of contentment, right, with what is in your hand and working towards
Yeah.
what you want to achieve.
You can get the Porsche, you can get these things, but if you do it the right way,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with, again, being wealthy or
Yeah.
extremely wealthy. There's absolutely nothing. But, the hadith says if the son of Adam had a valley of gold, they would ask for another.
Yeah.
Although the valley, you can buy everything in the world.
Yeah.
So, as Ali radiallahu anh mentioned, to not have wealth in your heart, but have it in your hand. So, wealth, it's actually good to be wealthy. But the challenge is that we do haram to get it, then it's a problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And one more, aspect that people don't consider, right, is that the more wealth you have, it's the more accountability.
Yeah, that's
right?
why it takes longer on Judgment Day.
Yeah.
There's
To
more.
get through the people who have more
Yeah,
wealth and
there's
things.
more accounting, right?
Yeah, so there's more accounting. The
Yeah.
balance sheet is longer, right?
Yeah.
So subhanallah, I just wanted to ask you one final sort of motivational piece of advice that you can provide sort of students or everyone who's listening. What sort of thing they can take away, one sort of advice that they can connect with and think back to.
All right. This is for my Pakistan Zindabad. I always say this in weddings that, as the Pakistanis say, Zindagi bahut mukhtasar hai. Like, life is very short.
Yeah.
We're not here for forever. So we can't treat it like
We're
it's.
not here for a long time.
Yeah, you should still enjoy your time in the dunya. Like, we don't need to eat just dal and just say, I'm gonna live like a buzurg, like have
Right.
nothing.
We've been given all these things so that we enjoy it, right?
Yeah, but the dunya is a prison for the believer. Why? Because it's keeping us away from Jannah.
From what we're going to attain, right?
Yeah. So even with the dua of, when you go for Umrah, you really need one dua. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً. Oh Allah, give us the best in this world. That's a dua for this world. وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً. In the next, وَقِنَا عَذَابِ النَّارِ. So it's like an example of double for the akhirah and then one for the dunya. There's nothing wrong with enjoying it.
Yeah, yeah.
But don't expect everything to be perfect, and you should strive to get as much as we can.
Yeah, yeah.
And don't rely on, like, if it's the qadr, I'm gonna get it. We don't say if, we gotta go for it. And the number one way to actually invest, some people think, is it the S&P 500? Is it SPUS? It's actually yourself.
Yeah.
Your own skills can't be taxed. The government can't take that away from you. And that's the number one investment. Like, if I have $10,000 right now, in the stock market, you're gonna make like $10 a year.
Yeah, yeah.
Or $100 a year. It's not gonna do anything. What you should do is actually use all that money towards your own skills, because your number one wealth creation tool, until you've been investing for like 30, 40 years, is your own income. How do I make 100,000? The easiest is your own income. So, like, we should strive to do well. We should strive to
building our skill set, our sort of resume, as they say.
Like, our parents' generation, it was like, just like us, we had the pizza store and all that stuff. But we need to take that to the next level. So it's not an issue to have a career that, you do really well in. But we need to invest in our own skills. So when I think of investment, forget about the stock market with university students.
Stock market, crypto, all these sort of things
Yeah,
that pop up.
I did the crypto stuff. You can make it big. You can go to zero. It's just your own skills. Imagine putting like $10,000 of,
because that's something you can't lose, right?
You can't lose it, exactly.
And it just grows exponentially.
Yeah,
Builds and interweaves with
and there's
everything
people
else.
who make 2, 3, 400K with a salary, and eventually, if you want to do your own stuff, great. But some people's skills are only worth $15 an hour.
Yeah.
And it'll never go up because there's always, like, you know,
Because the world's always changing, right? And you also have to grow yourself to grow with the world around you as
yeah,
well.
like Tim Hortons is never gonna pay 100K a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just it's a student job or it's easy to
Easy
enter.
access, yes.
So we need to make skills that like are, you know, inflation proof. Even if there's a lot of immigrants that come in.
Adapting with the times, especially,
Yeah,
the recent changes with AI and all these things, like adapting with what's
yeah,
happening in the world.
yeah. And you have Allah on your side. As long as you keep Allah close in the good times and the bad, you're never gonna fail.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest sort of takeaway, right? Knowing that Allah is by your side, knowing that your sort of risk is written, right? Keeping that in check and realizing that the efforts you're putting in, you're doing it for the sake of Allah. You're doing it to attain on the wealth that's already written. You're going to do it and use that wealth to benefit the ummah and to please Allah in the
Yeah,
end,
and then
right?
when you're debt free, you can donate and
Yeah.
benefit others and have that contentment
Yeah. So Jazakallah khairan, Ustad.
anytime.
I wanted to thank you for coming in, for educating us on how we can, benefit from the wealth, benefit from our current time, benefit the sort of money that we attain in the future, and introducing us to the Mizan platform once again, um, introducing that sort of premarital counseling aspect, the sort of helping of the imams, the helping of the community, that sort of platform, and motivating us to do our own sort of things, possibly introducing our own sort of platforms in the future that can help us grow our risk, right?
Inshallah, you guys are doing a great job here, so it's my pleasure. I love
Jazakallah
Mac
khairan.
MSA, by the way. I won't
Jazak,
tell the other MSAs, but it's my number one.
Jazakallah khairan, Ustad. And once again, tune in for our next episode, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.